Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, we did a rather long trading sequence, I don't know, one of those things, to get our new sword, the Big Goron Sword. In this episode, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to begin one of the most infamous, and I mean one of the most notorious dungeons in the entire game? Yeah, that's right, we're going to be going there. And yes, that also means, yeah, I'm wearing the Zord tunic right now, so that way it'll just prevent you from drowning. And also the Iron Boots. And lo and behold, we will be using the Iron Boots quite a lot. That means having to just pause the game constantly to get to the gear menu, and or the clothing menu rather, and just equip the Iron Boots. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Water Temple. Ah yes, you heard me right, the Water Temple. Everybody knows about this one. I sure do. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of dungeons that's, very notorious for being very confusing, and also for the fact, well, actually, people hated this dungeon for the two reasons. It's one reason being because of the rather confusing, or very confusing layout of this whole dungeon. The second reason being is that, because it's all mostly underwater, you'll be using air boots quite a lot, and so that means having to constantly pause again and again for this. First one over to this way. Wait, is that Ruto? Oh, you, if I'm right, Link? You're Link, aren't you? It's me, your fiancé, Ruto, Princess of the Zord. Oh, yeah, I see. Ruto, I see you're naked. Okay, then. You're a terrible man to have kept me waiting for these 7 long years. But now is not the time to talk about love. Also, I gotta say, I really do like how I like Link's reaction to this whole thing. He's going like, oh shit, she still wants to marry me. Yeah, Zora's to me. Frozen, a young man named Sheik saved me from the ice, but my father and the other Zoras have not, yet. I want to save them all. I want to save Zora's domain. You had to help me. This is a request from me, the woman who is going to be your wife. Link, you had to help me destroy the evil monster in the temple, okay? Inside the water temple, there are 3 places where you can change the water level. God damn, the text dialogue box is going slow. I'll lead the way. Follow me quickly. Alright, and so, yeah, she's gonna be swimming upwards, and also, after you do so, then she's gonna disappear. You'll just see in just a sec, so just take this off her. So, yeah, her shadow's still here, as you can see. So, yeah, just take this off like that there. And then once we go all the way out, then she just completely disappears. We're like, you're basically just following her, but then she's gone. So, I don't know why they just left it in there, but okay. Yep, see? Yeah, you see her here. She's gone. So, she's not around right now. Set up over this way. There's a new enemy that we haven't encountered just yet. These are the spikes. Guys, they're spikes. Name for everyone who attracts the spikes. Spikes! So, yeah, basically, yeah, there's going to be, like, a lot of the underwater combat. To destroy the spikes, and you just use those hook shots to stun them and they'll just turn into rocks, and then you just use hook shot again to actually destroy them. And you'll be encountering those kinds of enemies when you're underwater. And while you're underwater wearing those iron boots, your only kind of weapon you can use is the hook shot, which, of course, thankfully they would just allow us to just continue to use the hook shot. Oh, the hook shot is so awesome. I can use it underwater. Ooh. Oh, I love it so much. But yeah, so yeah, this is what you're going to be seeing me doing constantly, just by like, going to the pause menu a lot of times and just equipping the iron boots. Yeah, you'll be doing that in this in the water temple quite a lot. Oh, and also if you see these Triforce crests, so this is actually where you just play Zelda's Lullaby to raise and lower the water levels. Yep. That's probably some of the reasons why that, when it comes to certain levels where you just raise the, or just change the water level, well, yeah, that's how it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, I would say. But yeah, that's pretty much some of the reasons why that, that people hate this dungeon. Now, if you're playing the 3DS version, in that version, the Water Temple is actually more forgiving this time around because, for one thing, since the Iron Boots are equipped to, are used as regular items, then you can just equip to some certain buttons, and you can actually just press a button and put them on. So that really does save a lot of time. Something I'm thankful for. Not only that, but they actually kind of changed the Water Temple a little bit. I mean, the layout's still the same, but they actually used more hints to make the water temple much more streamlined, so that way it's actually more helpful like that. So I'm actually real thankful for the 3DS version for actually fixing all that there. And also, these guys are here. These are the shell blades. So what do? You just once they open up and to expose their tongues or whatever, you just you know, use any kind of weapon like either the hook shot or the bow and arrow, and then that's how they kill. So yeah, they're just like oysters with spikes and something when I eat though. I mean, ugh, that's just gross. I gotta say, as a food item, oysters, I fucking hate oysters. I hate them so much. They're gross. They're disgusting. They're slimy. How the hell even thought? Whoever thought, consider that who thought that making the oysters as a food item a good idea? Why do they think it was a good thing to do? Just use it as a food item? No, it shouldn't be. It's horrid. It's just gross. I am not sorry to those who like oysters. Ugh. But yeah, so that's basically what the water temple is like in the 3DS version. So I'm actually glad about that. Oh, was that those blood bubbles? Ugh. This game is already, you know. And yeah, there's just those blood bubbles. Actually, later on we'll be seeing more blood, but only in this version though, because this is one of the earlier cartridge versions. So we'll probably see which is something they changed in later re-releases, but I'm playing the one of the earlier cartridge versions of this game, so you'll probably be seeing more of the blood, but more on that once we get to that kind of location or that kind of setting. So but yeah, I actually remember reading this where let's see, there was Eiji Onuma, who was like he's actually been with the Zelda franchise for a long time, but during the development of Ocarina of Time, he was just now on board of the series just now, and I think it was one who designed the water temple, and he actually really felt bad for how he designed it. Actually, really, he actually personally apologized to all the viewers for the all the players for the water temple because he was actually still new to that, and so that's why, like in later re-releases, I would say more so in the 3DS version where they redesigned to make it to where it's easier and more user friendly, I would say. So yeah, that's actually one thing that's made. Like they actually added some lines around each of the walls to showcase where where you can raise or lower the water level. So, and also they kind of just show off where to go next. So yeah, if you're playing the 3DS version, then you might have an easier time. And as for what I personally think of the water temple, like, you know, because I know everybody else absolutely hates the water temple because of those reasons. But you know, as for me though, like, you know, when I first played this game, I was also one of those people who absolutely hated the water temple. I also got lost in there, and it took me, I would say, about a couple of weeks actually to actually beat this dungeon because of how long it was. But nowadays, like especially since after having played this game so many times to the point that I pretty much become an expert at this game, like I basically know this game like the back of my hand. It's kind of gotten to where that, you know, I kind of like gotten to where I'm at best indifferent towards the water temple. Like there are going to be the times where I might get a little lost, but that's mainly because I would just forget where some things are. So you might see some of those. And also, by the way, folks, for the entirety of the water temple, as we go through this, there are not going to be any jump cuts at all whatsoever, because I know how long this dungeon is, and I know some of you might be using these videos as a guide. So and so there might be those times where I might be a little bit lost, but that's not going to take a long time though, because I actually just remember. As a matter of fact, I actually did take a couple of recording tests. I'm sorry if I'm sorry my words if I'm talking gibberish here, so my apologies for that. Yeah, if I'm I actually went and did a. I think this is my second recording attempt for this one because I kind of forgot that one thing or where to go at one point. But I know some of you guys might be using this as a guide, so that's why for these videos there are not going to be any jump cuts whatsoever, because I know that if I do so, then you might just get confused at like where I was going. So the entirety of the video is just going to be one whole video, and just no editing, no jump cuts whatsoever. So that way there, you know, you guys wouldn't really get lost easily, because you know I wouldn't really do that to you guys if you really want to get through this place. And of course, as a matter of fact, but there are a couple of guides I recommend, especially with the Zelda Dungeons video, where where one of the guys from Zelda Dungeon, he did a full on walkthrough of these. Well, he did a full on walkthrough of Ocarina of Time, but it also closed the dungeon. So if you ever want to go through a good walkthrough of this game and just having just having a great guy for this, I would definitely recommend the Zelda Dungeons video, because he basically covers pretty much everything about these dungeons, and so it just leads all the way through. So it's very, very helpful in that regard. So I definitely recommend that. But yeah, honestly though, yeah, I've gotten to where after having played a lot of times, and then I'm at the very least indifferent to this dungeon, where where I don't really hate it as much as I used to, but I do find it annoying, especially I'm like I mean still do to this day, like, about finding it annoying, especially with how I have to constantly pause the game just with those iron boots, and then I just realized that there's the hook shot marker that's up there, and I could have just kept the iron boots on. But yeah, that's where you have to do, just like constantly pause. But I will say that, yeah, I actually kind of do like it a little better in the 3DS version, because of how they kind of get rid of that kind of factor with having to pause the game constantly, since it's a regular item now. Which, like I said, it's kind of, they actually started doing that in Wind Waker, where in the iron boots in that game, they were treated as a regular item, probably just to make up for the whole incident of the water temple. Even though there wasn't really so much of a water temple in that game. Actually, yeah, I kind of think of it. Yeah, there's actually no water themed dungeon in Wind Waker at all, which is actually ironic considering the game's setting, where it's all like the whole. Considering the whole ocean setting, then it's kind of ironic, I would say. But yeah, I wouldn't lose sleep over that one, because well, I mean, if there's no water dungeon, then, or water themed dungeon, then I'm perfectly fine with that either way. Especially, well, I'm sure the other guys or everybody else is just fine with that as well. So anyways, what was I gonna say? I think I was gonna try to finish my sentence. I think I've already pretty much covered what there was. But yeah, but even with those people who actually still despise the Water Temple to this day, I mean, I can still see why they would absolutely hate that. I mean, it's very much understandable. It is a very complex kind of layout. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all there is. And I know, because of how long this dungeon is, actually, as a matter of fact, I still did manage to do 2 videos for this dungeon, just like I did with the other dungeons, starting with Dodongo's Cavern. I thought I was actually going to do like more than 2 because of how long the dungeon was, but no, this time I actually went for 2 videos in one dungeon. Although I will say that these videos are going to be long, especially for the second part of or the second half of this dungeon. Yeah, it's actually going to be even longer, so brace yourselves for that. But it is, at least it's where I actually do finish up the Water Temple, so there's that at least. But I'm also getting the feeling that because of how long the dungeon is, and because of how kind of bland it would be and kind of dull, then like I might not have much else to say. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably just maybe find some things that are completely off topic, unless there's actually some things to talk about, like in some aspects of this dungeon. Like there could be some things to talk about, but if I run out of things to say, then I'll just I don't know, maybe find something that's completely off topic. Maybe, I don't know. I could probably do that. So I gotta say though, like I know it's kind of strange how with Link having to use the iron boots constantly to just walk underwater, and people might be asking why Link couldn't even swim or just like dive underwater. I mean, technically he could, but it's actually very limited though, because and he can only just swim completely on the surface, but he can't really dive into water and just like continuously do so. Otherwise, he'll just have to swim back up. And that even still applies when he's still wearing the Zora tunic for some reason, even though that actually saves him from drowning. Although I do gotta say though, I actually just seeing the Zora tunic right here, I actually really do like the blue coloration right there. Because I mean, I guess because blue is my favorite color. But I'm still always gonna go for the green tunic anyway, regardless, because I always see Link being natural at green. In fact, it's actually canonical that that Link is always referred to as the boy in green. So anyways, but yeah, it might very much drag. So I just might talk about it. So, but actually going back to the topic of Link not being able to swim, because like it's actually weird though, because I know other other protagonists were able to do so. Like, you know, Mario could actually could swim. He can dive underwater too. So like, you know, Link could probably do the same thing too. As a matter of fact, yeah, well, now it is true that that Link in Skyward Sword actually does have the ability to swim, but you actually need an item for that, like some kind of gear. I think that's like when you do one of those trials over in the it's actually over in the second half of the game. You do one of those trials and you get the this one add-on for being able to swim, which kind of begs the question as to why Link couldn't even do that before. Because I mean, it just just could do that naturally. You know, but that's just me. I guess just another one of those that talks there. But also in one of my recordings, I completely forgot where the compass was, and I thought that corridor was going to lead to something that I'm not supposed to go to yet. But then I just remember. But I had to look back at the guide again, and then I realized that that the corridor actually does lead to the compass. So that's why I have to get there. Make sure you're standing right next to the geyser, because the timer for that once you hit the crystal is very short. And so, so you just want to get as close to it as possible, so that way they're gonna get the chest, and now we have the compass now, so at least we probably wouldn't get too lost. And also, I gotta say, there's actually something I do want to say about you know, when we met Princess Ruto again, or when we reunited with her. So as you can see here, yeah, she's still naked. Well, I mean, you know, it's justified at the very least, because that's how all Zoras are. But I do want to say though, they actually kind of updated her model in the 3DS version, where they actually give her this kind of like this natural part of the some kind of a dress, or I would say, or some kind of a organic bra or something like that, just to cover the bits on her body and parts. So that's actually kind of just one way to just censor that. So that's just what they did. Even though she's still, you know, a fish species, and, you know, with Zoras, because, you know, all other Zoras are like that, but, you know, I guess they just kind of want to, like, just censor most of it anyway. And also the other thing, as you just saw, so within, so you remember how Link and Princess Ruto met, and like when they were kids, like they were still in the same age, and they were still kids when they met. And then when they meet again 7 years later, then Ruto actually does grow up at the exact same rate as Link did, so they're still the same age. Here's the thing, though. This actually gets retconned in Breath of the Wild, because apparently in that game they actually gave Zoras a far longer lifespan, like a longer one, to the point where they could actually live like even after like hundreds of years. Like a good example would be that we have Sidon. And in the like during the time before Calamity Ganon happened, and we actually see Sidon as a toddler. That was like, you know, before, like 100 years before Breath of the Wild even begins. I was like before before Calamity Ganon happened, and so, you know, we saw him as a toddler. And then 100 years after that, where Breath of the Wild started taking place, like after the whole destruction of Hyrule and, you know, Calamity Ganon and all that, and then 100 years later, and then we meet up with Sidon over in on the way to Zora's domain, and then we see that he's already in his 20s, or like, or at least in his 20s and Zora years, like, you know, even after reaching age 100, and he still looks like he's in his early 20s. And so that's how they actually gave these Zoras like a much longer lifespan. And so apparently we also have these other Zora soldiers. God, I'm switching the words around apparently. Yeah, a bit of a tongue switcher there. But there are also those Zora soldiers that we saw. They're also in their 20s, and then 100 years later, they reach their elderly age. So yeah, they actually retconned this from Ocarina of Time, where Zoras could actually have the same rate. But yeah, they actually gave the Zoras a longer lifespan in Breath of the Wild. So it's kind of strange in a way they would do that. As a matter of fact, I think thinking back, I remember in Oracle of Ages, you actually do meet up with King Zora. Like you actually go over. Actually, what happens is that you'll go to the Zora's domain in the present day of Labrina, and you see that there's no King Zora because that king is dead. So you actually travel back in time just by using the time traveling mechanic that was in that game, and then you go over to the distant past, and then you meet up with King Zora, who's apparently sick, and that was how he died. So So you're actually able to heal King Zora, and then you come back to the present day, which is like and ages later, and then the very same King Zora actually still appears, like the very same one for the past. So I think they might have established that in Oracle of Ages, and so that was carried over in Breath of the Wild. I mean, that's probably one thing in anyway, but yeah, Ocarina of Time was a little weird on that with the lifespan of the Zora. So it's like I don't know. It's just kind of weird how one of those early installment weirdnesses that they would do, and they just and then they suddenly decide, yep, Zora's actually live a much longer time now. Which another thing that is also very weird about how like I've also talked about this before with how with Ruto still went into to marry Link. And this is actually a reference again where with Mipha, who also wants to marry Link. And considering that they've now established with Zora's having a longer lifespan, and so even if they were to get married, then like she actually would end up outliving Link because since humans or Hylians actually are the very same as humans, where we humans have a shorter lifespan, since naturally though we will only just live up to 100 years, so at least at least 100 years. I mean, unless there's some other people that actually live a little longer. But I guess just about that though. So yeah, but she still would have outlived him, and anyway, so yeah, it's weird, but whatevs. Because as everybody else knows, the Zelda timeline is very confusing. Like, very, very, very confusing indeed. I mean, looking at the Zelda timeline, it could be a bit easy to connect. I mean, there could be some things that make sense, especially with, and, some continuities, especially with later games like, either Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. And, well, since Wind Waker actually does talk about the backstory of Ocarina of Time, and so those events kind of, like, make it how Wind Waker would take place, so at least some of those will actually make sense. So, but there could be the timeline overall is very conflicting, and I would say like playing through Tears of the Kingdom, it does get even more confusing somehow with some aspects, but I don't want to go too much into details because I mean, for one thing, I still haven't even finished Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, of course I wouldn't, because I mean, I know like just like Breath of the Wild, it is a huge game, and I am also going after. Well, I'm not exactly going after everything, but I'm still going after like the most important of everything, like in terms of plot, or just going with the storylines and having to go through each area with all the shrines, and also those godforsaken Korok seeds that just for the sake of upgrading my my gear. But also, all the shrines, and also having to do the story progression and all that. So I'm still going through that though. But it does take a long time because of how huge the game is. So I still haven't finished it though. I already did finish 2 dungeons so far. So so it's only like 2 more to go. But yeah, because of that, then I'm trying my very best to avoid spoilers, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys either. So I will keep my trap shut for you guys. Yeah. Hey, at least there was some things to talk about, even the Warren Temple. So I mean, I did say I was gonna go talk about something that might be off topic, and so I did. Yeah, see, there we go. I actually did talk about some things. So at least this commentary wouldn't be too boring. Am I right? But yeah, I know the next video, like I said, it's gonna be even longer. It's actually going to be like half-hour long, but I do at least finish a dungeon anyway. So I'll try to find more things to talk about. There's going to be some things to talk about, of course, with some aspects of this dungeon, but I'll try to see if I can find more, because, if you guys ever do get bored to death and all that, so, but yeah, I guess that's all there is I would have to say about the Water Temple, so, so I hope you enjoy this kind of video. I'm already at the end here, so... Anyway, so next time on Let's Play Ocarina of Time, we are going to continue onwards with the Water Temple, and hopefully we can actually finish this godforsaken dungeon, because I know at this point most of you guys want to be tired of this place. I kind of am too, but anyway. So, I will catch you guys next time.